Mexican would be lauded as an entrepreneur.
I am picking your vegetables and your fruit because you don't want to do it.
Are they upset that he's taking the job away from American drug dealers?
Right. As well as, and now you're talking about opioids and how it's killing the white suburban kid, but you weren't complaining. And it's funny, some guy got on my Facebook page and said, yeah, we were trying to stop the crack. No, you weren't. You brought the crack in to the black neighborhood. It's already been proven that you brought it in. The CIA brought it in, and you pretty much loaded up the prisons with all the brothers. So, you're not loading up white dudes in prison. Matter of fact, you're locking up more Mexican and you're locking up the white dudes. So, it's given an understanding of where we are. So, we were thinking about Comey's memos and what they read. Those memos, you're looking at a guy who knew that after the whole Clinton thing, he knew when he went in to talk to Trump, I had to put down, I got to keep note of which is something he always did. Because as you can see now, all this shit has come since this guy's been in office. He's losing cabinet members. Matter of fact, they're talking about Nikki Haley resigning. Now, and Sessions just stated that if you get rid of my guy, my top dude, I'm gone.
Yeah, but you know what? I think the Nikki Haley thing is one thing because she just got a great view of the underside of the Trump bus this week. Because if anyone listening has not been keeping track of what happened, last Sunday she was on what's the CBS morning show? CBS. But she said that the White House would be announcing sanctions on Russia over the whole Syria gassing their civilians attack. And Trump decided, no, we're not going to do sanctions. We're not doing that. Bill Maher said last night, for a guy who's not a Russian agent, he sure acts a lot like a Russian agent. And it's true. If it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, get the orange sauce, it's...
But now he's going after Sessions.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Sessions is I don't know what to make of him because he's saying that, oh well, if he fires Rosenstein, I'm walking too. And honestly, I think that's bluster. I think that's just bold talk from Sessions. I think he is going to cower to Trump and take orders like a good Nazi, as the saying goes. Because I am not suggesting that Jeff Sessions is a Nazi. He's more like a Klansman. But I think it's bluster. I think it's, you get Republicans like Jeff Flake who they talk a mean game.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, well, they're voting with the president's agenda 80, 90+% of the time.
Right.
They're resigning because they can't stay and fight it out.
Right.
It's bluster. It's trash talk. It's nothing. It's meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. Let's talk MMA for a second. You watch boxing, MMA, I guess wrestling, they don't do it, but you watch the weigh-ins, and these are a chance, to make sure that the fighter is within the correct weight range for the fight, but it gives them a chance to start talking shit about their opponent.
Right.
Conor McGregor is a piece of trash. I mean, he is human effluvium. But the thing is that I have a little bit of respect for him is that he's a fucking maniac. So he doesn't just talk shit. He
backs it up,
goes and attacks people. It's kind of like the admiration that I have for Rick Allen, the Def Leppard drummer who beat his wife in an airport with one arm. I don't admire the wife beating. Certainly that no one should do that. But the fact that he did it with one arm, it's like, I don't encourage that, but I am a little impressed.
There were some sisters.
And I'd like feel similarly about Conor McGregor. It's like, no, trash talking at the weigh-in is, that's just part of the game. That's part of the show.
There's
but
some sisters
he actually like fucking, busts out and starts throwing shit at buses. It's like, I don't encourage that, but you kind of got to admire the tenacity.
Well, actually, when the sisters found out that the dude had beat his wife with one arm, they had stated, how the fuck did you lose to him with one arm? I'd have beat his ass, so I'd have took my shoe off and beat him. He only got one arm, girl. Kick him in the nuts. That really brings him down. That's what they had stated after they saw that.
I believe that. It makes sense. Yeah. So I do not encourage that. I do not support domestic abuse. But there's something about, if he would have built a treehouse with one arm, I would have been impressed and proud to admit, well, hey, pretty impressive.
Well, he did play the drums with one arm.
Yeah, but that was also like, an amazing technological state-of-the-art pedal system that was built, and designed for and by
a one-armed guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
But so Nikki Haley, one thing, with her standing up to the White House, I think that's great. I think, as much as I am opposed to many of her political views and what, things she did as the governor of South Carolina before she took a cabinet position, I think this is one of those things where fuck it. Enemy has done good. You gotta not to beat the Rick Allen analogy to death with one arm or two, but you got to give her a hand. She stood up as a politician, as a woman, to stand up to the Trump White House and say, no, fuck you. I'm not confused.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. She's a pro.
Right.
So she wouldn't be talking out of her ass on a Sunday morning show. If she says sanctions are going to be issued,
right,
that is because she has gotten it from on high that sanctions are going to be issued.
And she probably has look, this guy obviously doesn't have all the info. Okay, he never does. He talks out of his ass, and he always says one thing, and he doesn't have all the fucking info. He never has all the info. He don't give a shit. And he'll come back and say, well, I hadn't had my warm milk that day, and I'm just going to, that's how I got that. He'll just make up. And then you got Huckabee to sit right there and scream out some shit and say, he was so-and-so and so-and-so, and it doesn't really matter, bro, And they'll clean it up. So whatever, it doesn't matter. Like Will was saying, whatever this guy says, even if Haley is saying that I'm sticking my gun, and he said it, and they'll come back and say, well, it was this and that was that. Well, she's wrong. And she'll say, well, whatever the president's want. No, he wasn't wrong. Was NIKKI right? No, NIKKI wasn't right. Well, they were both right. Really? Both of them. Oh, okay. So confusion is what this guy loves. And the people, what dilly-dilly. That's all it is dilly-dilly. That's all it is. If you ever think about it, I sit around there, dilly-dilly. Turn this beer into, take this and turn this beer into, I can turn such and such into a snake. No. I want this turned into beer. Yeah, dilly-dilly. Yeah, that's all it takes.
Well, and the whole idea, the whole dilly-dilly thing makes me think of the line, from, what was it, Mean Girls? You're never going to make fetch happen. Like, all right, look, Budweiser, you got us with the Wazza years ago.
Right.
I'm sorry. It's someone says dilly dilly in common conversation and they're not talking about that ad campaign specifically. Throat punch. Again, not advocating violence, but people have to learn. No, disclaimer: do not punch anyone in the throat. Unless they really deserve it.
Yeah, you really have all these disclaimers a lot lately.
It's one of those days. I don't know. I'm just dealing with a lot.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, could be like me. I just say burn them, but
Well, right, and much like Sean Hannity, this is not news. This is not an advice show. I am not a medical doctor.
Yeah.
I'm an entertainer.
Oh, now he's an entertainer.
So yeah, Alex Jones also. I'm an entertainer. Yeah. So anyone who takes my words to heart, that's your problem. That's because I am an entertainer.
Right. You've been selling this shit for years. And where is what you?
Wait, are you me, Hannity, or Alex Jones?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
what's the other
turning
guy?
on me?
What's the other guy?
Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, where's Rush? I never hear Rush's name anymore.
Well, that's all right.
No, but I'm just
right
saying. Normally, Rush Limbaugh is out there. Is he not a Trump supporter?
I think he's probably back in another Vicodin haze.
Yeah,
just
Laura Ingraham
hoping
thinks
this
he's
is
an
all
idiot.
going to pass over.
Yeah, Laura Ingraham thinks he's an idiot.
Rush or Trump?
Thinks Trump is an idiot. And then
broken clock twice a day.
Rush. I'm just saying that here. I mean, I'm just pointing out that the very people who were there for Bush all the time, or who are attacking Obama, are not around to attack Trump. I mean, and knowing that he's fucking up, the only guy you ever hear about is Sean Hannity.
Yeah, well, and as we found out this week, it's because they share a lawyer. And
wait a minute, I take that back.
What else?
Elder. Good old Larry.
Oh, Larry Elder, yeah.
Good old Larry. The black voice. Well, he was called the black voice for a reason, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and people called 100% natural granola cereal nutritious. But if you look at how much sugar is in there and palm oil, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I haven't stopped eating it. Mix it with some peanut butter, spread it on apples. Awesome. Again, don't do that at home. I'm an entertainer. Not until I get the cooking show going. But then, until then, yeah, take my recipes with a grain of salt. Kosher salt, the sea salt, that's good. That's good too. But how did I get off on that?
I don't know. You just went there. Yeah. So the other subject.
Well, we were talking about the
Comey.
Right. Well, the Comey memos and all the Republicans who are talking tough and won't when it comes down to it. I mean, yeah, you do have these folks like Laura Ingraham who are speaking out against Trump, which basically is like, look, I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy, is kind of what they're saying. Still, not that crazy. You shouldn't let it into your house.
Right. Well, Comey, if you think of Comey was bothered by having to talk to Trump, and that whole loyalty thing that he was trying to dump on him. You would think that he would have to come back. You'd have to keep a memo and everything. And he's pissed at him also because, he's calling Comey a liar. He's a loser. I was like, what president that you know of that has ever went out and started calling people losers and liars? I've never heard.
Well, like president of like the Justin Bieber fan club.
Yeah,
does that count?
Who did that?
I don't know. I'm just hypothetical of a president that would use.
Who's actually saying these things? This guy gets on Twitter and he tweets ruthless shit. He called, he went on and talked about the NFL as being these son of a bitches, all do blah blah. He's SOB, whichever. And it's like, hey man. What president? I mean, he is not presidential. Now that's another thing, and that's come out a lot. Is let's talk about being presidential. What is that? You see, that's the whole thing with the morals and the values and patriotism and all this.
That's another thing that chaps my hide is these people who say, well, you need to give him the proper respect because he's the president. He doesn't respect the office. Why should anyone respect him just because of a title?
He shitted on Obama and he respected office more than anything.
Yeah.
No scandal. None.
Well, I wouldn't say none. You may
I'm
not
talking about
know
his
this.
family.
You may not know this about Obama and his family, but they're black.
Oh. Well, there you go.
Scandal numero uno.
Yeah, blame it on a black man. Blame it on a black man. I would say.
That's it's the American way. I think they're going to replace e pluribus unum on the dollar bill with blame it on a black man. That's why there's all the hubbub about putting Harriet Tubman on the 20, because you have Harriet Tubman on one side of the bill, on the other side of the bill it says don't trust the black man. What kind of mixed message is that sending to people who use 20s? You can't do that.
Yeah, but I just when they say president,
I'm sorry, blame it on